Joining me for this live video, I am Adrienne Everheart. I am a certified master coach for women in dating and relationships, and I specialize in feminine energy. Feminine energy is a technique that I teach women. It's naturally inside of you. It's not about being a doormat. It's actually about having your boundaries, being able to express them, being able to come from this soft energy place. And today I'm going to really teach you how to get your man to love you again, how to get your ex back if you want your ex, how to get this man who's just been aloof and withdrawn, how to get him back into your life using feminine energy techniques that I've developed that will really help encourage that natural polarity that exists between men and women, where the man is in his masculine energy and the woman is in her feminine energy. And remember, all sexes, everyone has feminine and masculine energy. It's just about operating from that place in the relationship where you want to be feminine with the man and you want him to be activated in his masculine energy, which will want to claim you, make things happen for the two of you, love you, be very devoted to you, want to serve you in a way and protect you and provide for you. Not that you can't contribute and do those things as well, but you will also be in this receiving energy, which creates the space for the man to do this. And a man will have more testosterone. He will feel better about himself. He will feel more activated in his energy. And so will a woman in her feminine energy. We will be less anxious. We will sleep better. We will not be over functioning. You'll go back to this very creative source. Side note, a lot of women have thyroid problems, and thyroid has been associated with creativity. If you believe in that sort of thing, it's just kind of ironic that women suffer from so many autoimmune and things like this. And we're living from a place of masculine energy that's keeping our energy amplified too much to a place where it affects our health negatively. So we're going to work on that today. Now, this video is about how to get a man back into your life, how to get that love back into your life. I run a very popular group on Facebook called I Heart Love Academy. And I host my classes from there and all sorts of things. But anyone can join. It's totally free. Here's who this video is not for. It never fails. I have a client who tells me they want to start over with a person in their life that they loved. And they'll tell us the story. And some very well-meaning women will say, next, pass, run. Those sort of comments, I understand why you would want to give them to someone, but you're judging their situation. And you are here on your journey for you. You're not here to pass, next, or run. When you do pass, next, or run, you don't really learn anything. It's very easy to do that. But I'm going to go over how sometimes you don't want to stay in a relationship. I'm going to just kind of really quickly go over those things. But this is not for the pass, next, run mentality. I do not judge you. If there is a man you love and a man you want to be with that you've felt a very special connection with, I am not going to judge you. Because that man, even though there was a man in my life that I definitely thought was who I was meant to be with, I had to follow through with that process to find the man I was meant to be with. But along the way, along that journey there, I learned so much that I otherwise would have not learned. Now, my husband and I, before we were married, we had several breakups. Again, I learned so much while we were apart, and I accepted that we may never get back together. But I kept doing the work until he showed up on my doorstep to claim me, asking me to marry him. I've told this story so many times over, and this is just, for you as well. Someone just popped in and said, I'm in love with a married man. Nothing's going to mess up your mojo worse than messing up the union that's between two people and God. Don't mess with that. You're walking down some dark territory. If a person is married, it's very tempting. It is very alluring to want to misbehave and do something wrong. it is going to bring nothing but destruction to your life. Don't do it. Don't do it. Learn from it. Don't do it. So, sometimes when you want to next pass and, run, if someone is physically abusing you or your children or your pets, physical abuse, just this is the disclosure, physical abuse is usually a trait that really doesn't change in a person, unfortunately. So if you're in that sort of situation and you're physically not safe, your children are not safe, even if it is a religion telling you should stay in that relationship, or it is your family or social pressures, there are resources out there for you. Someone can help you. Pray on that. Ask for help in every direction you possibly can. Let people know the level of abuse so that you can get help and your children can get help in that situation. Some men may have mental illness and they are in a process of wearing you down, where they keep wearing you down so much that you actually lose your grip with reality as well. Years ago, a good friend of mine said, when you love someone who is mentally ill, you actually become a little mentally ill too. He used the word crazy, which isn't very PC. But when you fall in love with someone who is a little crazy, you also become a little crazy because you're going to this place to love them. And their reality, you love them, you trust them, their reality becomes your reality. So this can be really toxic, and it can be very, you're not even aware that it's happening to you. So a woman always knows when to walk away. I believe this fully. A woman always knows when to walk away. Don't let it come to the place where one of your children have been harmed terribly, or you have been harmed terribly, or a pet, or anything like that. It doesn't have to get to rock bottom. And for those of you that are in certain religions, this is not part of God's plan. Okay, so just keep that in mind, because I have to field questions from all sorts of resources and places. I like to cover my bases, here as quick as I can. If you are dealing with a narcissist man and you're dealing with someone who is slowly emotionally wearing you down and you're losing in touch with reality, here's the best advice I'm going to give you. Your emotional reaction fuels them. It fuels them. Okay? The key is to stop reacting and get inside your body. This is where you can get back to your truth. And sometimes that means stepping away for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, going somewhere else, or just having even a silent retreat for yourself so you can get back to what you feel in your body. Ladies, you do not create another man's feelings. No matter how much he blames you or anybody else in your life, you do not create another man's feelings. You can't fix them. Okay? So with that said, I've covered if you're in a relationship with someone, if you've broken up with someone and you want to get back together and you want to rebuild this, we're going to talk about how to do it. We're going to talk about what I teach you in the ABCs to Get Him Back program, which stands for Absolute Best Chances. So we're going to talk about that. I mentioned this sometimes, and it brings a, when people get it, they're like, oh, I get it. Wearing the yoke. So wearing the yoke is, you've seen oxen in these, it's these special wooden things to kind of keep the animal contained so that they can work and not get distracted and things like this. So in our term that I'm using it, wearing the yoke is temporary. It is not how you want to live the rest of your life. This is a measure to rebuild with the man. It is temporary. Okay? So when you wear the yoke, it is a temporary measure you're doing. It is a sacrifice. It is a little bit of a sacrifice to wear the yoke. It involves a little bit of suffering. Mostly the type of suffering where you have to bite your tongue. Now, what is wearing the yoke? Wearing the yoke is that I can accept I'm in a relationship challenge with this person. I'm in a relationship challenge with them, but I'm going to quietly observe what's happening. I'm not going to jump in. I'm not going to try to fix it. They may try to really blame you. They may read you the riot act. They might be a little hot and cold as you're rebuilding. And when you wear the yoke, you're not like, hey, you did not call me on Tuesday like you said you would. You're wearing the yoke. This is not forever. This is like, I'm going to tap the brakes. I'm going to see what he can and cannot do. I'm going to observe this. I'm going to listen. So you're wearing that yoke. You're watching, you're observing, you're listening. You're not jumping in and trying to fix it. You may be told you're wrong, you're bad, you messed up. And I want you to just kind of, just listen. Just listen. That's wearing the yoke, okay? You do not want to end up in a metal yoke. You do not want to end up nailed to a cross. This is a temporary thing that you're doing to rebuild, okay? Number 2, and I'm saving number 3 for last because I cover it in the ABCs, and it is super important to know. Number 2, you have to make his world better in some way. I don't mean you have to make his world better, but he has to feel like having you in his world makes it so much better. Food tastes better. The air smells cleaner and clearer. Life feels better with you in it. Ladies, I can't stress this enough. He has to absolutely feel that having you in his life makes his world better. And if you're like, I don't know if I make his world better, think about that. Think about that some, okay? So we're about midway in this video. This is where I like to pause and say, please do me a big favor and subscribe to my channel. Only 40% of the people who watch me are subscribed, which blows my mind. So take a moment, subscribe to me. You'll know when I'm live. And then also, if you can just take a moment and click thumbs up to let me know that you like this video so far. This just helps me on YouTube. This is how a lot of us make our living, is on YouTube. And so it helps other women find us. It helps us, get discovered on YouTube. So please just take a moment, give me a thumbs up if I'm helping you. All right? Thank you. So getting back to this, you have to make his world better. I don't want you to go into this going, how can I make his world better? How can I be there for him? What can I do? The man is looking for something he feels inside his heart that he cannot get by buying something, that he can't get from any other woman but you. It is a warm, wonderful feeling of peace and really going back to a simpler time in human evolution where this man feels like he is really providing for this family and he is needed and grateful to have him. And everyone is participating. Everyone's doing their part. But he feels like a man. How do men feel like a man? When he goes to work and his boss is telling him everything to do all day, and he has to answer to his supervisor, and he has to answer to the angry client or whatever it means, the man still feels like a man. He's just not alpha. Okay, he's just not alpha at that point. And men live by that rule. This is why women sometimes have such terrible times, is that we're challenging each other for alpha. Okay? And there kind of is no alpha with women. It's different. That's another video. But he understands there's an alpha in this situation, and men play by that rule. That's why men can get into fist fights. The other guy wins. He goes to pick the guy up off the ground. He goes, man, you got me good. There is this language in their DNA that men accept that one man is going to have bigger muscles, more money, that faster car, whatever else. They accept it. They don't compete so much. There is some like, I don't feel good about myself, I need to do better. Okay? But when he comes home to you, you cannot be alpha. You have to let him be alpha at home. This doesn't mean he gets to steamroll over you, but it means that he's the man. He's the man in the house. This doesn't mean if he makes some crazy decision, how are you going to deal with that? He comes home and he says, baby, we're going to put the house on the market. That's it. We're selling it. Okay. And you sit with it. Feminine energy slows down and he sits with it. There are all these secrets and formulas and methods that you can learn with feminine energy where you do so little and you make so much happen. Some of the best outcomes I've ever had is when my husband will tell me something and I go, okay. And he'll go, what? What? You don't think it's a good idea? What? You don't think? And he'll start coming at me and I'm like, well, I just don't know how I feel about it. I feel. What am I feeling? Not, baby, don't do that. That's a big mistake. This isn't going to work. Someone wrote me last week and they said that their boyfriend had created a swing for their daughter, and she said, that swing will never hold my daughter up. And he goes, yes, it will. And he was kind of like, whatever, it'll hold her up. And she got on the swing and she fell. And she said, Adrienne, how could I have done that differently? He was so mad at me. Pick your battles. If you're picking every battle where you think the guy is wrong, and let me tell you, ladies, you can probably do it better. You can probably do it faster. You can probably do it smarter. That is the truth. But we have to let the man do it his way. He will surprise you. I can't count the number of times that I am certain my way is better. And I let my husband do it, and it works out like clockwork. And my way was much more complicated, but it made so much more sense. Trust the guy. Protect your children. Before she gets on that swing, honey, can you try it out? Can you try it out for us? Let daddy do the work. You guys sit back and observe. You see how this works? It's a shift in your balance. It's a shift in your energy, how much you're doing moving forward, okay? Someone said, why are we so much smarter than men, and why is it hard to communicate with them? Well, I don't want to say we're so much smarter than them because I don't know how to build a bridge. I don't know how to set up an infrastructure that covers the entire United States. I don't know how to put in somehow phone lines that run under the ocean so we can talk to other countries. I don't know how to do any of this stuff, and I don't want to do any of it. Okay? I don't want to dig a ditch. So it's not that we're smarter, it's just that we just have different powers. We have different things. Why is it hard to communicate? Probably because we're coming at him with this ram mentality of masculine to masculine, and you're going to butt heads. Coming at a place from feminine energy, check out my book, 500 Ways to Talk to a Man. It's an ebook. It'll help you. Okay, so I've talked enough about that. I'm going to move on to my last point, which is the 3 pillars that I teach in the ABCs to get him back. Now again, this is if you want to rebuild, you want to reestablish with your man, even if he's an ex, even in times of any pandemic that is or is not going on. Pillar number 1, a man has to be able to provide. A man has to be able to provide. This could be financial providing. This could be emotional providing. You may make double what he makes in your income. He still needs to be able to bring something to the table that is so important. It is more important than the money. So he doesn't feel, number 2, competition. A man will not be in a relationship with a woman he is competing with. And, you know, you might be in a situation where there is a little competition between your husband. Maybe he lost his job. Maybe he's a little down on his luck. Maybe things just come real easy for you. Maybe he's got this super hard job and your job is a lot easier. You know, he doesn't want to feel like he's competing with you. Talking about the client who the husband was building the swing. If she's interfering with all of his plans all the time, he's competing. He's being undermined and competed with. Okay? You have to use your inner boy who is very smart to let your girl know what she needs to do so that competition doesn't exist between you two. Okay? Now, is this like a quick here's what you do. This is going to require you some thought and some reflection in your body, okay? The ABCs to get him back, it's a wonderful program. And so is FEM, Tools for Dating. FEM stands for Feminine Energy Mindset Method. I have a dating protocol that is unsurpassed to anything you will find out there on the internet anywhere. And I stand by it, and it works. People tell me every day on my Instagram, my Facebook, how wonderful this is working in their lives because it's natural, it's not manipulation. I'm a woman, I've lived it. I'm not a guy with a marketing degree who's found a way to wiggle myself into women's hearts and manipulate their outcomes. That's not what I do. I've lived it. I've lived it, I've coached it. Judge for yourself, okay? Judge for yourself. We talked about he has to provide, he cannot compete, and he has to be able to maintain. So maintaining means he can do all of these wonderful things, but he can keep doing them. He's not just on an upswing and feels like having a family January through August. He wants to do it all the time. Why does he want to do it? Because it feels good to him and he feels like a man. All right? It feels good to him and he feels like a man. We don't want to make a man feel like a man by us manipulating him in some way, flattering him, bowing down at his feet, having a hot meal when he walks in the door. That isn't how it works. Okay, that's a myth. Okay, those are manipulative action ways where you're giving to make something happen with the man. That's not how feminine energy works. And I know it's so confusing at first to understand this. It's very nuanced feeling at first. But once you make that transition, I always tell everyone, I'm like, if you watch my video and you're angry and you're like, how does this work? You're about to make a breakthrough. So don't worry about it. You're on your way, okay? All right, so I'm going to take just a couple of questions, and I would love to take a question from someone who is, have an ex that you're trying to reconnect with, and also a married couple that you're, trying to reconnect with, and then we'll see what else I have energy and time for. So you guys, I'll scroll through, but I would love to have like an ex situation. You might be using the ABCs, and I can follow up with you, or you're married and you're needing some advice. I love to repair marriages. That's one of my favorite things to do. So go ahead and ask any question you may have. Okay. So Monet says, if the man you're trying to rebuild with notices a change in your behavior and actions and asks what's wrong or why you're acting differently, how should you explain this? And I believe by this, you mean feminine energy. Well, if you wanted to, you could say, well, I'm learning a new way of speaking and being that feels more natural to me. I feel more like a girl. And I'm curious what you think. And go to, I'm curious what you think. But you can say, yeah, I'm doing some things to improve myself. I'm doing some things so we can communicate better. It feels so wonderful that you noticed. Okay. Clara says, I'm confused. Should I make dinner, clean house for my partner? How feminine women behave. So if you clean the house because you like a clean house. If you like making dinner, you make dinner because it's food that you want to eat. If he's done something really awesome and you want to reward him like a little present or a gift of gratitude, I do that sometimes with my husband. Like if he's been working out in the yard or something like this, I'll bring him home like his favorite Starbucks drink or something like that. But you're not cleaning the house and you're not cooking food, so this person will love you. Okay. Let us take a marriage question, please. Okay, Belinda says, married. He moved 8 months ago and he's not coming around to see any changes. I gave him the talk and put it on my calendar 1 month ago. What do I have to do to have him come around? So I don't really know what the calendar for 1 month ago in the ABCs to Getting Back program, which is over at my website, everheartcoaching.com. I talk about it really takes about 3 months for the new things that you're doing in your life to unfold. And, oh, she said the 3-month check-in. Very good. So you have that 3 months that you're working on yourself and you want to unfold. And so when you say you reached out to him, are you talking you did the Hail Mary pass with him? And the Hail Mary pass is just where you have shifted your energy now. And so when you send that message to the man, he feels your energy is different and it's shifted. Now, what do you do if you send that Hail Mary and the guy wants nothing to do with you? It's very disappointing sometimes. And you're like, can't I speed this up somehow? Can't I make this happen? So this is where it gets kind of fun. Because my question for you, okay, she said, I told him I want to stay married. Thank you, Belinda. My question for you is, can you watch this unfold? Can you lean back and give it a little more time? A woman always knows when to walk away. Give it a little more time to see what he can and can't do. And remember, don't make your words about his action to come back. Make your words about how you feel in your body. Okay? So one of the things that really, I think, changed things for Jeff and I is that, and I talk about this in another video, if you can take that quality that your man has, that quality he has, that it actually maybe even cause you guys conflict. You know, for example, with Jeff, he considers himself to be a very even-tempered, giving, nurturing person and very peace-minded. He considers himself that. I don't always agree with that, right? But this is something that he really feels strongly about himself. It is what he feels sets him apart from all other people. So you find out what that quality is in your man. It's going to be something different in him. And I know this is a deep dive, okay, but hang with me. This is a game changer. What I'm telling you right now, ladies, is a game changer. Find that thing that he feels most people misunderstand him about, but that he is very certain makes him feel special and unique. You got to think on this one. You got to go over some conversations and find out what it is, okay? So the lady I was talking to who's married, if you have something like that, pop it up in the comments, but I'm going to keep going. So you're able to say to this person at some point, you know, you really have this nature about you that you are a lot more gentle and loving than most people. And I'm sure that that's caused you some opposition in your life. And I'm sure that some people have never understood you for that. But you know, I have to say, it's something that I've seen in you, something that I notice in you. And it feels wonderful to, you know, have that quality in you, or feel that quality. And you leave it at that, you see. So then you become that one person who gets him unlike anybody else does. Okay? You see how this works? So that is a really, not the best example, but you got to figure this one out. And I do have videos on that out there about how to find this one thing that the man really needs in life that he's not getting. He's been suffering with it everywhere he goes. And you say, you know, I see this, and I can understand why a lot of people would get turned off by that. A lot of people wouldn't like you because of that. A lot of people wouldn't understand that, or a lot of people would take you for advantage of that, you know, for granted for this or whatever. But I see it, and I think it's remarkable. I think it's one of your best qualities. And then that person, again, feels like you get them like no one else gets them. That is your ticket into someone's heart. Okay. She says, I seem to be the one almost all the time. Then don't be the one. Stop communicating with him. You got to go quiet for a little while. You got to put that Hail Mary out there. You don't keep putting the Hail Mary out there. You put it out there. And you say, you know, I'm here. It would feel so good to just talk. What do you think? When he does call you up and talk, it is not about fixing the relationship. Remember, we're going back to wearing the yoke. It is not about fixing the relationship. It's not about going over who said what went wrong. It is about, hi, this is like we're talking for the first time in a long time. Wow, how's it going? Oh, I feel so happy hearing your voice. I wasn't sure, you see. And he only texts, so stop texting him. Belinda, I'm beginning to doubt you have the ABCs to get him back. Because in that, I talk about if someone keeps texting you, you can say, you know, it's felt wonderful connecting. A phone call would feel lovely. What do you think? Okay? Ladies, can you take a moment and give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video? And if you haven't already, please subscribe. So, somebody said that, this one caught my eye. Can you explain the Hail Mary? The Hail Mary is a one-time offer to reconnect with a man. One time, you only use one, you only get one, okay? Learn more about it in the ABCs to get him back. And I have tons of videos out there about it. Wendy Williams, I don't think it is the Wendy Williams, but if it is, hello girl, how you doing? I find this so dangerous. The discernment between that and feeding the insatiable ego. I feel I've done that, but it can become insidious. What do you think? So this is, again, this is not, this is temporary. This is not, I need to keep telling you things to make you know how wonderful you are. This is, you find that one thing. You find that one thing. And you go with that, okay? You go with that. My cat's trying to jump up here. You don't keep feeding an ego. You're not here to feed anybody's ego. You're here to connect your heart to his. If he is a person that needs his ego fed to feel good about himself, I had a client not too long ago. She said the man kept saying to her, I want you to be crazy about me. I want you to be crazy about me. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for a groupie. He's not looking for a high quality feminine energy woman. You know, he's looking for a groupie. And you can say, wow, well, I want to feel crazy. You know, what does that mean? What does that look like? Because I think crazy is crazy. You know, crazy in love is crazy. Okay, yeah, okay, and an audience. So the wonderful thing about feminine energy work is that you're not working on how do I keep him happy so he stays here. You're going to connect, you're going to reconnect, and you're going to rebuild. That's what I'm talking about here. It's a process. It's not how do I keep feeding you so you will stay around. It's reconnecting. It's reconnecting, okay? Now somebody said, so we're not supposed to give them compliments? Now come on. You're taking that as far to the other direction as you can. It's not about not complimenting somebody. Look, you're a goddess on a pedestal, okay? Try if you can, ladies. Go to this place where I am a goddess on a pedestal. And there is a man in front of me down there. I see him. I like him. I want that one. However, I have 100 men behind me, and they're there. They are there waiting for you. So have that in your mindset. Look, if things don't work out with my husband, if he happens to find his soulmate and it is not me, go be with your soulmate. Because I got 100 men. I got 100 men out there. You want to have that in your energy. Because it's true. It is true, it is real, and it is real and as true as you allow it to be. Okay? So first of all, have that energy. I'm the best thing in the world. If it's not me and it's somebody else, I wish you luck. Because I'm the best thing there. Have that in your energy, okay? Because you are. You're watching this video. You're learning about yourself. You're doing this work. I'm a goddess on a pedestal. Here's a man. I like this one. Oh, he's done something good for me. He has put on a clean shirt. Oh, his breath smells like mint. I can tell he brushed his teeth before he sat down here to make out with me. He worked hard at work and got a bonus check. He mowed the yard. He decided to rub the side of my shoulder for 5 seconds. You can't give him a compliment. You're a goddess on a pedestal. Okay? Oh, that feels so good. Oh, all this money is exciting me. Oh, that yard is just so gorgeous. Wow. I feel like a little princess having you mow it. That's how you give him that compliment. And you can also say, oh, baby, this means so much to me. I feel. What do you feel? Okay? before this live video I'm doing, my husband helped me set up my camera. He's doing this stuff for me. He doesn't have to do anything for me. You see? All right? So I'll take one more question from you, amazing girls, and then I'm going to go. Please check out my program, ABCs to get him back. Now, somebody made a contribution, and you're too sweet. Tanya V. Let's take a question from Tanya V. She made a donation. Nobody ever has to make a donation, but thank you. It's very wonderful. So Tanya V, honey, why don't I go ahead and take a question from you? And please give me thumbs up on this video, girls. I've had up to 600 people watching me live. And I would love it all if you could all give me a thumbs up. And just be gentle with yourself. Just understand that this isn't something that, you know, you just can lock into overnight. It takes practice. It takes commitment to yourself. Commitment is a big thing. Why are you doing this? Why do you want this relationship to work out? Get your answer. Keep going with the why. I want this man to love me. Why do I want this man to love me? Well, because he'll make me feel special and make my world. Why do I need my world special? Why do I need this? Why? Keep following that why and see if you can't get to that place, okay? All right, Tanya, you're not asking a question, honey, so I'm going to let everybody go. Oh, Belinda, how to date still married with COVID? Well, I mean, if you're married, I know that y'all are apart, but if you're married, you got to get together at some point and have a little quarantine in the house for a little while till you're confident that both of you are okay. Some say that's 2 weeks. Some people say in about 5 days. You got to do what's right for you. It is your life. It's your business. Ultimately, that's how you would get together. And again, I'm not a health expert. I'm going by what I read on websites and get from the CDC. And then you can also have video chats. You can connect. You can keep them very short and sweet. So the man, they do not turn into a therapy session for a man. And you just connect. All right, everybody. Tanya, thank you. Thank you, Tanya. She just said she wanted to say thank you, and she's learned a lot from me. I'm so happy to be part of your life. All right, I just got the low power message on my phone. Thank you, girls, for all these questions that you've asked me today. Thank you for opening your heart and being vulnerable with me and everybody else in this little mini class we've had here today. Remember, go slow with yourself. Think about that commitment you have to yourself and your relationship with yourself first before the guy. You know, how committed are you to your happiness and your well-being? Find out what's really important to you. Everybody, thank you so much for the love. Stay well. I'm going to flip my camera around and show you some beautiful scenery I'm seeing right now. Look at there. Isn't North Carolina beautiful? And thank you so much for all my new subscribers. I wish the bird would come back. Thank you so much for my new subscribers. I'm sending you all much love now and forever. Bye-bye.